Very good everyone and welcome to my review of the OnePlus Nord. Well as always I will start by saying the store that lent me this terminal was the store in Japan, so as always you will have the purchase link right in the description. Totally reliable store. Go. I have been collaborating with them for many years, and I have never had problems, and they also normally have a lower price than the manufacturers usually have on their website. Well, the following is the terminal box. As you can see, here we have the OnePlus Nord 4 box. It is very thick, therefore that means that it comes without a charger. We will only find the charging cable and the tool to be able to remove the tray and insert our SIM. It comes with a screen protector. What happens is that it is already installed, okay, and also it has cost me an egg to remove. But if you want to test the screen, well then you have to remove it, although if you are not a phone tester, if you do not have to do a review, I recommend that you leave the screen protector on because it is really very well put on. Well, before moving on to talking about the design, I will tell you a little about the measurements of the terminal. Height 162.6 millimeters, width 75 mm and thickness 7.99 millimeters. It is not thick at all. The weight is 199 g. Specifically 199.5. Both the back and the frames are made of metal. In fact, that's all one piece, so that's very cool. It's been a while since I've tried a terminal that was all one piece like that. Everything continues, you know, without separations, and it's really quite good. It feels quite premium since lately, well, the ones we've tried are either glass or plastic. But what do you want me to say? I don't care, you know. I particularly prefer phones that are like vegan leather on the back. They grip better and I like them better. But this one is not ugly. Well, in the lower frame we have the USB Type-C, which is version 2.0. Then right next to it we have the microphone that has worked perfectly for me to send voice messages both through WhatsApp and Telegram and in voice calls. Also good is the tray to be able to put it in the nano SIM card. In this tray we can put 2 nano SIM cards, and on the other side we have the speaker, which is a stereo speaker because it sounds here and it also sounds from the top, and it sounds very good and very loud. On the left side we have the slider button to change the modes, whether you want to carry it with sound, silent or vibrating. You directly press the little button on the side and you change it without even having to take your phone out of your pocket to unlock the screen and put it on silence or vibration or whatever. Is very useful at the top. Apart from having the noise cancellation microphone, we have an infrared emitter with which we can use the device as if it were a remote control, and on the right side we have the volume buttons and the power button just below also seem to be made of metal and have a very good press and are at a perfect height. Unless in my hand, and for me as I am right-handed, this terminal has IP65 certification, so you don't have to worry too much if you get caught in the rain, for example. Well, if we go to the front, well, we have some black frames around the screen that are not very thick. The truth is, the screen is 6.74 inches and the finish is 2.5D. You can notice the curve a little bit throughout, but not much. You can probably put a tempered glass on it without problems. The screen technology is AMOLED and has a resolution of 2772 by 12240 pixels. The refresh rate is up to 120 Hz. I wanted to tell you what type of protection the screen has, if it is Gorilla Glass or something like that, but I haven't found this information anywhere, so if you know, leave it to me in the comments. Anyway, it doesn't matter what certification it has. It doesn't matter if it's Gorilla Glass, Victus or Armor or whatever it has. If you get it, it's going to be yours and you're going to have it for a long time, and you don't have enough money, as is my case for tempered glass. Yes or yes, no matter how much certification it has, it's glass and it's going to break if you drop it. If it's not today, it will be tomorrow or the day after or in a year, but at some point it will either break or be scratched. So if you want to keep it in perfect condition, better put a tempered glass on it, and so when you drop it, the tempered glass will break and not your screen. Well, speaking of the screen, comment on the typical failure that some phones have that makes the proximity sensor desperate. It has not given me any problems. I have been able to listen to WhatsApp voice messages from Telegram, phone calls with the phone there in my ear, and it has not been activated the screen, and it hasn't gone bad for me. So that failure, at least for me in this unit, hasn't happened to me, and it doesn't happen only to the Xiaomi ones. That the OnePlus 12R also gave me that problem on the same screen. We found a reader fingerprint that works great, but normally you won't have to use it because the facial unlock that it has works great. I also have it configured so that when I pick up the phone, the screen activates and it sees me automatically, and I slide up and it unlocks. You can also put it directly unlocked without having to slide. That is optional. Inside we find the Snapdragon 7 Plus Gen 3 processor. I don't remember if I have tried this processor before, but it has gone quite well for me. Now we will talk about the performance. I will tell you about the RAM that has 16 GB of LPDDR5X RAM that can be expanded up to 12 more by taking internal storage. Internal storage that can be either 256 or 512 gigabytes. It is UFS 4.0. Therefore it is the fastest storage there is now. Yes, the performance well. With this processor, this RAM and this storage, the phone is great. It's super good. You tell me that this is a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 or 8 Gen 3 and I could perfectly believe it because the things I do on a daily basis are done superbly. I don't know if it will be because of the 120Hz screen or the pack as a whole of all the technical specifications that I have told you about, but the phone works great. That is, it feels super fluid, super fast, very electric and works very well, and in terms of raw power, I don't need more. It works well for me. The cameras, when I take photographs, also work well with all the programs that I have used, and they have worked correctly. Even testing games, they have also worked well for me. So in terms of power, I don't need more. If we move on to the cameras, we have a front sensor. The camera, the front part is 16 megapixel. f2.4, this camera is capable of recording at 1080 30 frames per second. Yes, it may fall a little short. I think they could have put a 4K in it, but hey, that's what's on the back. We have two sensors, one of them 50 megapixel. f1.8, this is the good one obviously, and then another less good one which is 8 megapixel. f2.2 with the rear camera not only recording 4K but it can also record up to 4K 60 frames per second. It is also capable of recording in portrait mode, that is with the background out of focus, but it stays at 1080 and the cameras in general are quite worth it to me. The only thing that at night I have had some problems with the autofocus in 4K 660 if I remember correctly, but they are quite usable and I think they can be worth 80 or 85 for people who want a phone with cameras that are quite good. But well, as always, now I leave you some samples of the photos that I have been taking during this week from day to night, as well as the videos, and I particularly like them a lot. Despite the little problem with the autofocus that may be with a simple update, because they can improve recording with the rear camera at 1080, since if you activate the stabilizer it drops to 1080. Now if you remove it, then we will see what we can record even in 4K 60. Let's see how the difference is from 1080 stabilized to 4K 60 without 4K 60 frames per second. It made me remove the stabilization. Let's walk a little to see if it moves a lot or is acceptable. We can also pause, take zoom photos for 2:1. For the autofocus it still works well. Let's try 4K 30, 4K 30. FPS we have the poor do also with good autofocus. Music. We walk a little, it still focuses well. There, the sun up there, I think I can't look at it if I haven't gone blind. And we can also pause taking photos, activate the flash recording with the ultra angle. But you have to go down to 1080 30, if not it won't let you just pause, because I had sneezed. The good thing about being able to pause the same clip, and that's how it would be seen in 1080 with the ultra wide angle dual recording. We can put the 1 for 2s by activating the flash. Yes, if you want to change the scene, that is how the image looks like a smaller square, or maybe you have to do it before starting the recording in 4K at 30 frames per second. I'm going to walk little. I think I can change to CS a 2 by and a 10 by. We go back to 1 by to see the autofocus. Very well. Here it behaves really well in 4K 30, and now I'm going to try in 4K 60 frames per second to see how it looks. In the night recording 4K 60 frames per second, I think the image looks a little darker. And even pay attention to the little lights, because they appear on all mobile phones when you are recording in a light OK autofocus. Seems to it costs a little more than in 4K 30 autofocus. Come. Again, well, it's not that it's super dark. The close-up image is very good, but it's hard to come Back up, it's hard, come on it, whoa. And come back now, if it's a very dark place it's hard for it to come back. A on focus and 4K 60. Recording with the front camera with the stabilizer activated and without the portrait mode activated, it is 1080. Same recording but with the stabilizer deactivated, and now recording with the portrait mode activated as it comes. I have not touched it up or added it, removed. This is how it would look at night, and it lets me activate the flash. Yes, there it is, like this it would be with flash activated and portrait mode at night. I don't know if it does now. I'm going to remove the flash. Disabled, it has been removed, I believe. Portrait mode, yes, when activating the flash. The portrait mode has been disabled in video, music. We move on to the battery. 5500 mAh battery. I am starting to become a big fan of phones that have 5500 mAh of battery because they are giving me brutal battery life. I love them, along with the fact that this processor surely also performs quite well in terms of efficiency because it has given me brutal measurements in terms of battery range. It is obviously worth any day. If I didn't have enough battery to finish the week, I'll tell you some of the notes I took. One of the days it gave me 6.5 hours of active screen on a normal day. You'll say, well, not bad, it's good. 6.5 hours in a day. No, it's not bad at all, but the next day, not the next day, and more than half the day after that was when my battery ran out. It gave me 8.5 hours of active screen in more than a day and a half. That is, we went from one to the next. Normal day, which is until 12 at night, I get 6.5 hours of screen time, and the next measurement the battery lasts more than a day and a half, and I get 8 hours, 30 minutes of active screen time. And you can think, maybe it's an error or maybe better digital well-being, which is where I look at the issue of the battery in these phones, because it could have failed. Yes, it could be, but today, for example, is the last day that I am using it at 12, 1 minute at night, because at 12 it resets and it counts for the next day because it had approximately 5.5 hours of screen time and it had 40 or 50% battery, so I'm almost on its way to 10 hours of active screen time. So the 5500 mAh are very noticeable, and you have already seen that this phone is not at all thick or bulky. That is, it is rather super thin. It can be put anywhere, and it is not a brick either, you know. So I love the brutal autonomy. And then we have the quick charge, which is called Superbook, which is 100W. The bad thing is that with its charger, I have not been able to test it because I have not received a charger, but according to what it says on its website, in 28 minutes it can be charged from 0% to 100%, and I think it is possible with 100W, but if we do not have wireless charging, it is probably to blame that the back is made of metal, and by the way, they have saved a few euros there. Surely the Bluetooth version it has is 5.4, and it has worked perfectly for me. With everything, the watches, with the cars, with the headphones, with the Wi-Fi. Exactly the same. I have not had any problems as with the 5G, as with the O2, which is Movistar coverage. The NFC has been superb for me. I have also been able to try it to pay, and it also works correctly, and the GPS at first I thought I had some kind of problem with Roomkeeper, which is the application with which I usually test the GPS of phones, but no, it is simply that you have to open the application, go to the information of the application in question. For example, Roomkeeper, which is the one I was going to use without looking at the screen for a long time, that was the problem, and when you enter the application information you have to go to the bottom where it says pause the activity of the application if it is not used and deactivate it. Why? Well, because, for example, if you do like me, you put on Roomkeeper and you go to run or walk and you don't look at your phone again, because the screen hasn't been activated with the application for a long time, it closes it because it thinks that no, you are using it, but this has not happened to me with WhatsApp or applications that need notifications to arrive, yes or yes, even if the phone is not active for a long time. But with this one in question, yes, it is okay. That is, if you notice that an application is failing you, we get the notifications or whatever, or it was closed and you wanted it to be open, so do this. This is okay, but I already told you in WhatsApp, Gmail, and I haven't touched anything and I get the notifications perfectly. To all of this, the GPS and the compass work superb. Because in addition to Roomkeeper, I have also tested the GPS with Google Maps practically every day and it works great. The version of the operating system it has is Android 14 with the Oxygen customization layer version 14.1. It works great. I love it. I am very used to it. This layer of customization is one of my favorites. And on the subject of updates, which you ask me, sometimes it will receive 4 operating system updates and 6 years of security updates. As I have read, it is the brand's most extensive support package. It won't be due to updates, and I don't think I have anything else written down. Well, it does not have an FM radio in case anyone misses it. It is something that I don't listen to, so I don't care. So as you can see, this device is really great. At first, when you see the price, you say, damn, it's a bit expensive. No, but then if you have the opportunity to have it in your hand to feel how premium it feels, and after trying it, especially for at least a day and a half, so you can see how long it lasts, damn battery, then you say it's worth it, so you can have a phone for many years, not only because of the hardware it has, but also because of the user experience, which is very good, and the issue of updates, if that interests you to have it for a long time. I hope the video has entertained you. If so, leave me a like, share it with social networks, subscribe to the channel if you are not already, and leave me a comment for the YouTube algorithm so that more people can see the video. Just a greeting. Bye.